Hi, hello everyone. Um, Welcome to another dumpster diving. It's been a while, isn't it? Not it hasn't been that long, but it's been long enough, I suppose. It's when was the last time I went online? Like 2 weeks ago? A week ago, something like that. Well, I'm on again now, which is fun. How's everyone doing? Feel free to just chat for a bit. I was actually planning to do another dumpster dive like soon after. I swear I was gonna do one last week. People on Twitter will probably know this, but I was saying that I was gonna do another one like last week once the whole Yeowon Nuna thing. Well, not the Yewa Nuna itself, but the thing with Chani and Hyung from SF9 died down a bit. Because that had something to do with like room salons, and I didn't want for my stream or whatever I said about the whole GFriend 17 thing to be twisted out of context because it does have something to do with like private drinking bars, like private room bars, if that makes any sense. Like, it's like where people go drinking, but it's like in a private room, which is a bit like motel esque, but also could be confused with room salons. So I really didn't want to dive into that a bit too much. But now I think to be talking about that now is just a bit too late. I'm not really sure. Though, feel free if you want me to talk about it, like just comment on it and I'll get into that. I guess today I don't really have much, or not much. I don't really have a set plan of what I want to talk about. If that, I just wanted to go online for the sake of going online. Like, I just feel like chatting. I just feel like ranting. I just feel like opening a session for us psych ward patients, you know. You know how it is, right? You know how it is. And yeah, well, there's not a lot of people on right now. Again, it's fine. This is a bit like impromptu. Again, I've been like this week, just this week, I've been saying that I was gonna do it on like Wednesday, and then I backed out, and I said I was gonna do it on Friday, and then I backed out, and finally I'm doing it on Sunday. Why now? Beats me. Actually, no. I do have a reason of why I'm doing it now, as opposed to other days, and it specifically refers to the tweet I made last night. Wait, here we are. Everyone press F for Taldokchu Faves, Cutie-san, Mr. Sonu of Enhypened and Wonu in quarantine. Get well soon. Pet Rock, Mr. Sehun of EXO, and Serum cancelled on Instas. Press F. And then Dogyum OST for the Kim Tae-ri and Nam Joo-hyuk drama 25, 21, 25, 25, 21, whichever order that is, getting zero exposure, self-made king. He has to go on to Weavers to promote it himself. Like, evil Espa manifestation. Funny how all nightmares came true, bitch. Like, how? Why? On the same day. Like, we are failing our Tom Holland School of Manifestation classes. Like, this is not great. Not great for Miss Taldokja. Like, she needs to go on here. And this is all on top of the whole xenophobia thing due to the Beijing Olympics that's been very rampant. How do you whatever. It's been very rampant on like communities lately, hence why I haven't been reading any egg accounts slash communities being DC Gallery, Instas, Pan, and such is because I'm just there's there's just a lot to talk about with the xenophobic comments that's been on those communities. And it's been, well, not highly concerning, but quite a bit concerning knowing the reputation of, at the very least, instances like it's a paid community. It's meant to be not swipe, but it's meant to be, at least for the most part, more neutral, more open-minded, more, well, they prohibit a lot of things and it does get filtered quite a lot on there. So not a lot of like hate comments filter through, not a lot of just plain shitty takes and like trashing on your faves kind of thing are on there. But recently, I don't know why, and I think a lot of instas, people on the Kanbang, on the main forum thing, has pointed this out too. But there's been a shift, I guess, in the user base of instas, in that they are saying possibly that a lot of community users, like pan users and um DC gallery users, have moved to instas, like started using instas as their new like base of operations, if that makes sense. Like they've been on there quite a lot recently, and that's been kind of the source of just a lot of xenophobic like comments and posts, yes, but a lot of just hateful posts, which sometimes I thrive by. Like I don't mind it at all. Like, yeah, trash your faves, like call them out. I love hate comments. I love antis. Egg accounts are my source of energy, kind of thing. Like haters thriving, you know, you know how it is with Taldokje, the Twitter account. Like we thrive on hate. But I don't know, for some reason I've just been experiencing a lot of fatigue with what's been on Instas recently. Like it's just too much, which I don't usually say, but it's just, it's been really overwhelmingly like hateful towards people that I like. But it's like it's just like a recurring thing though with the xenophobic stuff. Whenever something happens in China or China related, in this case it's Olympics, but before it's been just like the Hong Kong protests, or what was it? What was the last one? Hong Kong protests were like 2020, right? 2019, 2020, 2021. I forgot what provoked it, but something happened as well, and it was just the barrage of xenophobic comments. Just, it's too much. And then in 2022 we come to the Beijing Olympics, and it's been, for short, a shit show, like purely just based on, one, it's being held in China, which again, very xenophobic. Like I understand that, and that's why just it's so hard commenting on this, because like it's just makes me angry just reading it. Anyways, that's probably gonna be the main topic for today. I will touch on some Dogyum stuff at the end because I just feel like it. I just feel like ranting about Pledis and their shitty treatment of Dogyum once again. It's just like a once a week corner here, once every show corner, where I just do not like, I cannot stand it anymore. Honorary member of Dog Hive, shout out. Whoop, whoop. Okay, anyways, let's get into this. So, to backtrack a little bit of what brought up this whole xenophobic things that's been going on in Korean communities, well, social media at large. Like, I'm not even just saying Instas or DC Gallery or um Pan, Twitter. No, it's just Korea at large. Like it's been pervasively, even in media, like journalists has even picked it up, and like TV news coverage of the Olympics have picked it up. It's quite intense. So what essentially happened is, um, well, it kind of started before then. Like during the Beijing 2022 Olympics opening, there was a performance by, well, Chinese performers where the concept of the performance supposedly is the different ethnicities, the different regions of China, like carrying the flag or something like that. Like it was like unity, united China, something of that sorts. And one keen-eyed K netizen spotted, so they were all wearing different costumes or different like regional traditional costumes in China, and one keen-eyed netizen pointed out that one of them was wearing a hanbok. And as we all, well, not as we all know, but as most of us know, hanboks are pretty much the national dress, national costume, national, how to say it, like traditional clothes in Korea. Like very much like it's very iconic. It's very much associated to traditional Korean heritage, found in all the three dynasties of Korean kingdoms. We've been there. Bekakachingus, we've been there. Okay, the different attributes of a hanbok, like, oh my god, as a costume person, like, we've been there. We've done it. And this kind of sparked debate already, like, at the very first day of the Olympics, already a shit show mess. China saying, yeah, because they're Joseon people. So, brief history lesson, Yorobun, but like during the like, is it Joseon period? Um, Maybe it's a bit before then, but around that time, there was a time in um the kingdom era. Why am I calling it era? Oh my god. Anyways, the three kingdoms thing where Korea is under the rule of the Chinese Empire. Like they had a diplomatic tie. Korea is very much a very closed off nation, and there was a time where they had to pay tribute to the Chinese emperor and everything. So they were technically like under the Chinese emperor rule. And when the Joseon period ended, came with the Japanese invasion and settlement and whatnot. A lot of Koreans flee to northern Korea part, and then that part just kind of fled more into like China a little bit. And so there's this, like, I guess, what is it called? Like, why is my brain like thinking euphoria? That's not the word. Is it dysphoria? Is that the word? Wow, my brain is all over the place right now. I'm high on caffeine, so sorry guys. But yeah, there's a lot of migration happening there. So a lot of ethnically Korean people that settled in China, and those people are commonly referred to as Joseonjok or Joseon people, again with the context of the era and everything. And so the Chinese government was like, yeah, we have hanbok in the opening ceremony to represent the Josok, not Josok, Joseon Jok people, the Joseon people, which is Korean, ethnically Korean people who have migrated to China and become Chinese citizens, essentially. And this kind of political thing, it kind of drags out even after the modernization period until like I think like the 1940s 50s. Wow, this is giving me some undergrad stuff. There you go. Thank you guys. Diaspora, thank you. Yes, my brain is all over the place. I'm sorry. We are not having the best moment right now. Anyways, so that was a whole thing, right? And the Korean government, of course, did not take that shit. Like, even the American embassy, like, ambassador, in Korea, the American ambassador in Korea, so like he works at the embassy. He was posting like in his hanbok fit, doing the traditional like tour and having tea ceremonies and being all like, yeah, hanboks are Koreans, and it was woo, a display of diplomacy, one could say, and it was just like a whole thing. So that was already just sparking so much debate, sparking so much fuck China's like things going on. And then we come to the like early this week, maybe on like Thursday, Wednesday, what day? It's like Sunday. So yeah, sometime midweek last like this week. They had, oh, actually there's a date here. February 7th, which is this week, right? Yes. Yes, it's this week. It's on Monday, right? So, there was the short track competition in the Olympics, and so it was like 1,000 like meter short track, yes, and it was between the qualifiers was between two Korean skaters, like, and then a Chinese skater and then Hungarian skater apparently. Um, on the qualifiers, they got disqualified despite some clear pictures, some clear photos of China using the Chinese, not China, the Chinese athlete using hands to like to hold, like to, you know, like block off the other athletes. Like they were short track, it's like a whole like a circle thing. It's like, imagine like roller derby. It's like a, yeah, something that, but it's like ice. So a lot of that going on where the Chinese athlete was like blocking off other, like holding on to other athletes like foot and leg to prevent them from advancing forward, like to Indonesian word being nyelip, forward, and it was a thing. But then in that instance, not the Chinese athlete was not disqualified, but in turn the two Korean skaters and the Hungarian skaters was disqualified. And that was a whole big issue. That was the big thing that sparked all of this xenophobia towards the idols. Like, okay. And as stated here by Mr. Kwon Jang-ho, which is one of the journalists I follow. Well, I don't follow him, but I follow someone who follows him, who's also a journalist. Tweeted out, like, after that got broadcasted, SBS, which is like a big three television broadcaster in Korea, followed up the coverage with a special segment called Top 10 Worst Moments of Cheating by China. And this pretty much sums up like the sentiment in Korea, like right off the bat. Like they have that prepared. Like the xenophobia is rooted in the system. Like they just don't give a fuck. Like again, in this case, I do think it's like Garrett, like not, it's warranted, since, you know, it's like the evidence is like clear as day. I can't find the video now. I'll show you later when we get into the idol like responses to it. I think RM posted a picture of said match on his Instagram story, so we'll see how the moment actually went down there, because I can't find a clear video of it anywhere. I don't really want to bother dumpster diving into the xenophobia on Twitter with the Korean like twit users, so we'll move past that. But yeah, so not going great to begin with. And then someone brought up Ning Ning from aespa, Miss Ning Ning. She is, as most of us know, she is Chinese, right? And she posted a bubble, which is the private message thing for SM artists, putting out support for the athlete. At this point, I'm just gonna put it out as it was first assumed, as it was first presented, before I get into the clarification stuff. But at the time, people assumed that she was posting this bubble in support of the short track athlete who got gold. So here you can see that the two Korean skaters and Hungarian skater was disqualified during the qualifiers, but that led to the Chinese skaters um, advancing to the finals and then picked up the gold medal. So that allowed the China to pick up the gold medal. Essentially, that's how it went down. So when Ningning supposedly when Ningning posted this bubble, people were assuming that she was congratulating the short track medalist. Despite this match taking place on the 7th and her posting the bubble on the 5th, Ningning은 지난 5일, like 2 days before, you know? So, of course, she wasn't referring to the same match, but people acted like she was supporting this like unfairly acquired gold medal. And then I think a lot backtracked. Like you can see in the title of the article here, it was more of like Espanining Jungkook 선수만 응원은 오해. So this didn't refer to her specifically supporting the short track medalist, but that she was only supporting the Chinese athletes of sorts. And it wasn't made any better because she was posting on the bubble in Mandarin, you know? So it was just, again, I don't, as someone who does not care about the Olympics unless it's like badminton and like gymnastics, because I just enjoy watching gymnastics. Like the drama that goes on there is pretty fun, and badminton is like the only chance Indonesia has during the Olympics. So like, you know, but like if I don't know, maybe that's just not possible. I was gonna say if like an Indonesian idol, say Dita of Secret Number, was to be like, yeah, go Grace Up or something like that. Because Koreans also really care about badminton, right? Would she be the butt of these xenophobic comments? Much to think about. But like, if a Korean like person like I don't know, Mas Hansol or something, you know, of the that content creator, the Korean who lives in Indonesia, whatever, he was putting out support for Korean athletes. Like I don't, nobody cares, right? Like it's his country. Like I don't see the problem. Like Ningning's just being a nationalist, which I guess that can mean a lot of things. In the case of China and the xenophobia that's very rampant in Korea, like they assume that if you support China, it's the Chinese government and their actions as a whole. It's a whole complicated topic, but you know. But yeah, so what she posted on Bubble in full is 와 오늘 우리 중국, she means here China, won their first gold medal. Like we won our first gold medal. I'm so happy. Damim Sonsa. So her classroom teacher just said to her that two of the Olympic champions are her classmates, her schoolmates, and she's very proud of them. And she's saying that all Olympic athletes deserve to be respected, something like that. And then they're very, like, she's very proud of them, and then they're very, how you 훌륭합니다. Like, very, like, they're just very talented and everything. So 전 세계 선수들이, like all of the athletes around the world, I think they're all working very hard, fighting. And then after that, she posted another bubble. Just now, I was cleaning my room. It was very hard, and yeah, this is just her daily life, something like that. So this was again, as you can see here with the original transcript of said bubble, you can see that she wasn't just cheering on Chinese athletes, nor it was by the date referring to the short track medalist anyways. So like I don't see why people super upset about it, you know. Oh, okay. This last part. Everyone in the world is one family, something like that. And I think a lot of people are upset by that. Again, xenophobia. One family, one family. We are not one family, something like that. 여러 개의 가족만 해요. I'm cheering on the different families, something like that. So again, not. They're just twisting it to to what they want to see, essentially. So not looking great for Miss Ning Ning. And then afterwards, a lot of people started talking about it on Instas, and then SM did what SM shouldn't have done, which is want anything off the internet. Like if you want something to disappear, just let it be. The more you censor it, the more you take it down, the more people will re-upload and will talk about it, the more people will eventually take notice, and it will forever remain in the internet's like collective consciousness. So it's just better to just leave it be and let it just fade away in the wind. And SM did the exact opposite. They contacted Instas to take down said posts about Ning Ning's gold medal thing, bubble posts. And the thing with Instas is that if a company requests for a takedown, this also happened a long time ago with the boys and their smoking not allegations. It was they were caught in 4K on their main Twitter account. Like it was hilarious, but they were talking about that like on Instas. It was a whole big deal where they were like clowning the boys for getting caught smoking. So their company, which at them still Cracker before they turned to IST, but it's essentially under Kakao M, requested a takedown of those posts, and they displayed on top of like the post, not the post, but like if you click on the post, it will say it's deleted, but then there's gonna be like a banner on top being like the post that you've picked here, 선택하신 글은 have been moved or like has been removed or like just censored by after a request is made by said like company. So they actually like call you out on the jumbotron if like your company asking for a takedown, and that's exactly what happened here. So a takedown was requested by Dear You. Dear You is the company tasked running the Bubble application, like day-to-day operations is under Dear You. And Dear You is a sub company, like a company under SM. So again, it's just SM asking for a takedown of the post. And since the banner is just up there, like, of course everybody's gonna be on it, like, God, why is SM protecting this Chinese, like, country betrayer? Like, oh my God, go back to China. Very xenophobic remarks were made in the comments against both Ning Ning and SM. And yeah, so that was a whole mess. And then a lot of articles came out about it, and it trended like everywhere. This is one of them. Short track, no touch. Again, as I mentioned before in the event, it was actually the Chinese athletes who were grabbing onto people's like the other athletes like legs to like prevent them and everything. And they're spinning it as if like Ning Ning said, yeah, it was a fair gold medal. They did not touch anyone. That is not true. It wasn't in the bubble at all. They're just spinning shit. Like they're pulling an Oni Boogie Boo Boo here, hun. It's a whole mess. So yeah. That was the thing, and like these articles didn't only trend in Korea but also trended in Weibo. So it trended in Korea, and then of course people were like, oh my God, go back to China, oh my God, leave aespa, oh my God, leave SM, kick her out of aespa and everything. And that like gained traction. So then that trended in like Weibo, in the Chinese social media website Weibo, and all the Weibo commenters are being all like, "Oh my God, yes, Ning Ning, go back to China. Oh my God, yes, Ning Ning, you're the princess." Things like that. And then because of the Chinese positive response, it trended again in China, in Korea, and then all the Korean netizens were like fired up, like, "Find that, take her," and it's just like a whole thing. It wasn't a pleasant day for anyone. By anyone here, I mean me. I did not want to know. I did not want to read it. It was just too much for my brain. I cannot comprehend. I don't really want to know. Okay, and then all of this, all the hatred towards Ning Ning led to a lot of K netizens just digging, digging onto everything, latching onto anything that can like get their hands on to like take Miss Ning Ning down. This includes like trying to find her Chinese friends, like painting them out as Iljins. You know, here you can see them like smoking and pictures of Ning Ning with said people, like drinking and everything. Um, Also, I can't find the Instas post now, but someone found Ning Ning's private Instagram accounts, like private Instagram account, like a single account, private Instagram account. I don't know if they actually got posts. Maybe this is from there. Maybe this is from these pictures of her and her friends are from her private account. But not only did they get these pictures and like commented on her friends, but also like combed through her following list and like found out that she followed a bunch of like NCT members accounts, like the public accounts of NCT members since they have public personal accounts now, and also NCT's like group account, and then like some other like actors, actresses, popular like female idols. But then she doesn't follow like Red Velvet's like official account, and then also doesn't follow aespa's official account. So they're saying like, "Oh my God, she's like she wants to like date your oppas or something like that." It was a whole lot of a whole lot of bullshit for nothing. It was just painful to read. So that's one thing, but also like again these like other articles that trended. It was just a whole shit show. So on the other spectrum of things, if people were just hounding on Miss Ning Ning for doing this, shortly after the match, BTS's RM posted an Instagram story, which kind of like in support of the Korean athletes. Oh, oof, clarified. No, those are from her friend's account. They met up when aespa was in New York for Macy's Thanksgiving parade, I think. Oh yeah, I think that made sense. So the pictures aren't from her private Instagram account, but the whole private Instagram account following listing still happened. I actually saw that. You have to trust me on that. I can't find the post now, but it was there. Trust me, it was there. Again, so back onto where I was. BTS's RM posted an Instagram story, pretty much in support of the short track athletes, which here you can see. Aha! Okay, these are the pictures of the whole event, and then he put like a clap emoji and a thumbs up emoji, and I'm not sure if it's a picture of a video. I've seen it in video form, but I think RM only posted a screen cap of the match, so just a picture. But you can see here the hand of the Chinese athlete touching the leg and touching the other um, athlete as well. While you're I think you're not supposed to do that. You can see here the athlete at the back has their hands tied, like not tied, but like held onto their back like that. While the Korean athlete is just touching the ice, and then this Chinese athlete had their hand on the shin of the Korean athlete and also on the back of another Chinese athlete, I assume. The Korean athlete here, he'll pop up a lot in this. His name is Hwang Daehon. and he's been receiving a lot of support in the Korean social media sphere as expected. But yeah, so he posted like a support message, and this was like highly regarded as like, oh my god, BTS nationalist, oh my god, BTS pride of Korea. Essentially, that's the response they've been getting, because it's like right after the match. So the match happened, and like an hour later he posted this. So it was like he was hot on that. He was quick to do it, you know. So a lot of people were very happy on that. But of course, as we all know, the Chinese netizens have things to say about it. And it was a whole thing. So yes, Mr. Koryo Dynasty. Again, I really recommend if you guys want to follow for like Korean, like they post a lot of politics and everything too, but like they're a lot of fun. So regarding BTS's RM, who cheered South Korea's short track team, and gold medalist Hwang Dae-hun, both being terrorized by Chinese trolls, spewing literally millions of hate comments on Instagram, Law Talk News analyzes that the vomiting emoji can be seen as an insult and crime under Korean law. So Law Talk News is like a content creator. I think they're like lawyers, or at least they studied law, and they talk a lot about like um internet drama. Like I don't know if you've seen that like guy on YouTube that like go like if there's some internet beef or whatever, and they analyze if it's like if it's you can pursue it through like the justice system. Pretty much same thing but in Korea. And then yes, RM's Instagram, the post that he made, or like he posted the story, and then after that he posted like a completely different unrelated Instagram like feed post, and that's like troll bombed with a bunch of vomiting emojis and everything. And then to counter that, armies were like posting the purple hearts. It's a whole thing. Good on RM, get that engagement, I guess. But yeah, it was a whole thing. And again, they said that they can like sue this the Chinese trolls under Korean law, apparently as defamation. One lawyer said that an emoji is a type of text message that conveys emotions using a picture, and can thus be seen as a crime of insult, aka defamation. Another lawyer corroborated, saying that nonverbal expressions can also be seen as insults. So again, this is like a whole thing right now. If a netizen leaves malicious comments in China, they can be held legally responsible. The bigger problem comes in terms of cooperation and getting the accused to come to Korea to be punished, which will never happen in practice. So yeah, so that's a thing. And I've been this is why after I saw the RM posting that Instagram story and everything, I was just like, yeah, there's no way Hybe has plans for China expansion of BTS anytime soon. Or maybe their assumption is that, I guess right now I've talked about this before as well in regards to other BTS related scandals, regards to like V and Jungkook and just them and everyone else, I guess, in BTS acting however the hell they want, and treating their fans, or not really treating their fans, but like them in their communication. I'm so used to saying sotong, but like their tokbap, or like how they interact with fans in the fan spaces, be it Weverse or Twitter or Instagram, just being just completely unfiltered and like whatever the hell they want, and like Hybe just letting it be. I guess it's because like they're at the status where like nobody cares. Like whatever they do, there's always people who are gonna support them anyways. So I guess this kind of like one of those things where even if RM in supporting a Korean athlete antagonizes China, and that might close opportunities for BTS to like actively promote in China, I think Hybe intrinsically knows that there's still gonna be Chinese fans, Chinese armies anyways, and they will find ways to keep supporting BTS like monetarily, regardless of the Chinese government like law and whatever kebijakan they do. So it's one of those things. And then no, RM is not the only Hybe artist who spoke out on the scandal, on the incident. Mr. Taehyun of TXT also posted on Weverse. So someone posted like, "Oppa, Olympic bas어요. Have you seen the Olympics?" And then TXT Taehyun here commented with two angry emojis, and then "이게 맞아? Is this right?" Just now I was watching it with Hyeoning Kai. So they were tuned in. All the hype artists are apparently Olympic fans, great fans of the short track event, apparently. So yeah, they were all tuned in and just not here for the unfair treatment of Korean athletes. Oh my god, I'm using unfair treatment. Ironically, I'm sorry. Anyways, yeah, so that's a whole thing, and people are praising him as well. That's why this will relate to another thing later, but yeah, so hype artists do not care about China. That's the conclusion we can draw here is that they simply do not care about the UN they can be earning. And this kind of ties into how this incident has led to a lot of xenophobia for other Chinese idols. And this um comes into play with some of my faves as well. Like to be more specific, it was June and the 8th of 17 that was hit quite hard by this for like okay, maybe not for some reason. They have quite valid reasons. I do not like admitting my enemies have good points, but if you were a xenophobic person and you saw it, like I get where they're coming from, but at the same time it's just like the critical thinking is not there. Though, yeah. So they were attacking June and the 8th, and also some other common targets we all know and love, Mr. Ranjun and Cholo from NCT Dream, all the Wavy members, except Ten, sweet little snowflake in Knet's eyes. Not Ten, but every other Wavy member. And then Yirin of Everglow was getting hit as well. Miss Yuchi of G Idol was hit as well. Shuhua, wait, no, not Shuhua, but Miss Yuchi was hit. Yeah, and then some other Chinese idols, but it's mostly concentrated on June 8th, Yiren, NCT Dream, and Yuchi, I think. That's the one I saw a lot. And Ningning. Well, Ningning, we've covered that, but that went on. So it was a thing, right? And this sparked a lot of just very xenophobic things happening in instas. One of them being finally the approval of an OT 1117 dokbang, which is like a not really a chat room, but like a fandom specific like forum. So again, you probably know this. The Kanbang is the bigger main forum, and they have smaller forums under it for specific like fandoms. And then one of it was the OT 1117 dokbang. Um, you know, so she's there, finally approved. So with dokbangs on instas, you can like not really vouch, but you can apply, you can request for the establishment of a forum, uh and then if you have enough like votes, so people vote on it, and if you have enough votes, it will get reinstated into its own forum. This is usually done for specific groups that have problematic members, or if they have like, it's also, you can like request for ships. So if you ship one idol with another idol and you want like a forum just specific to discuss like that specific pairing, you can request for a forum as well. You can request individual forums as well. So if you want a specific like member of an idol group to have its their own forum, you can request for that as well. Um, but in the case of like in recent years, a lot of like OT5, OT7, you know, when like there's problematic members in a group, right? Like you don't want to support the whole group. So like going onto like that said group's forum and seeing said problematic person's face being supported all over just annoys you. So then you and like several other people who only support like specific amount of numbers of members in the group decided to request for like an OT7 or whatever form can do that as well. And this was a monumental moment in Instas, I suppose. Especially this was first, I think I first discovered it during the school bullying era of egg accounts, specifically to address the whole Hyunjin of Stray Kids thing. So a lot of OT7 stays were like, yeah, fuck Hyunjin. I do not want to support him anymore because it was confirmed. Like he admitted to it, right? He admitted to the allegations. He was not beating it. He was admitting to it and then going into reflection. But despite all of that, a lot of people were still just not feeling him. So they requested for an OT7 Stray Kids forum and it got approved. So this proves that um you can request for such things and those actions does not constitute as a hateful action. Because in instance, I think hateful comments, hateful posts are flagged and you can be banned or like you get like a punishment for it. Like you can't post or you can't see or your account gets like frozen for a few days or something like that. So requesting for an OT7 being that you're hateful, it does not constitute as a hateful action towards a specific member. So that proved a point and that kind of opened the floodgates for these kind of actions. I think I've seen NCT members request such forums as well. And 17, the OT11 forum was requested way back in 2021, I think. Again, I forgot what sparked the whole xenophobic thing in 2021, but it happened and it was like requested. But then it only got established after this Olympic stuff, after more xenophobic things happened. So yeah, the OT11 17 room forum thing is finally approved. And you know, that was the thing. So there was a lot of fans just coming out as like, fuck it, I'm OT11, fuck June 8th, go back to China and everything. And carrots were not having it, which is, well, expected. Wait, here we are. This was the tweet. So, a lot of people were like coming out as OT11 and then the OT13, 17 fans, the all fans were all like, no, 17 is a 13 member group where we support all 13 members. If you only support 11, that means you're not a carrot. Yada yada yada. And then that, a lot, like, they trended some, like, a hashtag or something. 17 was 13 or something like that. 7 is 13 or something like that. It trended. And then, like, an Instas user decided to, like, screenshot all of the posts defending June 8th and defending OT 13 17 and then post it on Instas and then title it like some shit like, look at these people putting Oppa over their country, over their nationalism, and it was just a whole mess. And then the comment section is just full of people saying like calling OT 13 carrots country betrayers, like nation betrayers. Like, is it that serious though? Is it really that serious? Though I do understand where these xenophobic people are coming from if they do not have critical thinking. That is because 17 members, June and the 8th, are the only Chinese idols who have complete this is like vaccination, who have completed all of their support of China social media posts, like posting. Does that make sense? No. So, in celebration of different anniversaries or some Chinese propaganda thing that they want to push, they usually have this mandated, like it's mandatory for idols or well celebrities promoting in China to post such posts if they want to keep promoting actively in China. And it's like one China and then something about the South China Sea, and then um a post to go against Hong Kong protesters, so supporting Hong Kong police. And then the last one being in support of the Communist Party, something like that. And then, so there were several posts. I think it was like 5 or 6 of these posts. Like, it's mandatory, so usually it's posted all at once. And they are the only Chinese idols who posted all 6. If there's a series of 6, they were the only one who posted all 6. Like other Chinese idols or Chinese members in an idol group usually tend to post only like 4 out of 6 or 5 out of 6, or some maybe only like 2 out of 6 or something like that. But the 8th and June posted all 6, and this has been like a common defense against, or a common argument against June 8th being pro communism, anti democracy, pro China government essentially. But anyone with even the little sense of critical thinking would probably understand that these are mandated posts, and if they do not post this, then they cannot actively promote in China, which again just speaks volumes in its irony, because as we've seen before, their label mates, fellow hype artists, RM of BTS and Taehyun of TXT were posting in support of Korea, and in itself can be seen by Chinese netizens as antagonizing China. So why are these two very polar, I don't know, strategies in appealing or I guess antagonizing the Chinese government exist in the hype label? Questions were made, questions are popping up, thoughts are being thunk essentially. And I guess my only way of rationalizing it and why June 8th are the black sheep in all of this is there is no other idol, no other celebrity under the bigger hype umbrella that can promote actively in China except June and the 8th. Like, actively speaking here, from the big hit label, we have BTS and TXT, which are both banned, blacklisted. TXT maybe not as much, but BTS has been blacklisted or under the K, like they were part of the reason the K-pop the anti K-pop thing was reinstated, and China was like, fuck K-pop, no K-pop idol can promote in China, or Korean K-pop idol can promote in China, was partly because of the BTS scandal thing with Samsung, where they were, oh no, it was the UN? Was it the UN or Samsung? I forgot. But it was, they presented something, and in the map of the presentation, it put Taiwan as its own country and not part of China. And they called Taiwan like a country or something like that. And then the Chinese government got angry at them. So then they blacklisted BTS. So it has happened before. And really, hype just do not care when it comes to the big hit artists, as we can see with Taehyun and RM. So Big Hit is out of the picture. Next label is Source. They do not have anyone right now. Anyone they've debuted. Like GFriend disbanded, so they're out of the picture as well. Then we have Belift, which is Enhypen. They do not have any Chinese members. And I think they're mostly focused on like Korean, well, not really Korean market. They do not have any Korean fans. Maybe like American market and like Japanese market. And I don't really think like overlapping. Like sometimes groups are made for like specific markets, and I think if you're focused on the Japanese market, I don't think they would focus the same group on like the Chinese market as well. So and Hypen disqualified. They do not have the means to promote in China anyways. Next we have Pledis, which like after school is pretty much like Nana. I'm specifically referring to Nana. I don't think Nana is like into the idol, into that Chinese money, so she's out of the picture. New East is blacklisted in China as well after the whole New East M spectacle that happened in 2013. So they had this venture where Pledis signed like a co management thing with Yuehua, and they added a Yuehua trainee to New East and promoted China and called themselves New East M. Hag Pledis fans, you probably know this. His name is Jason. He was promoting with New East for a little bit. And I think they made some like sour comments about Jason and China or something like that. So they're blacklisted in China as well. So they can't promote in China. And so that leaves 17 as the only act that can, well, K-pop, traditionally K-pop act that can actively promote in China. And that's kind of pretty evident because June 8th has had solo schedules in China. And then again, with all of this one China government propaganda posts, which I'm pretty sure are government mandated. Like they could not post it if they want to actively promote in China. And I guess they're the black sheep of the HYBE label. And 17 as a whole, even not just the Chinese members, have been active in Douyin. Douyin? Is that how you pronounce it? But it's like the Chinese TikTok. And they've been active even just today. Sungkwan was posting on Douyin. So, you know, there's that. And yeah, they're the only group that can promote in China. So might as well have 17 promote in China and everyone else can be pro Korea, you know. I guess that's the strategy here with HYBE. Not glad that it's my children as the black sheep here. Not glad, but you know what? We gotta face the music. And again, like they won't have to go to the military anyway, so I guess it's like inevitable for June 8th to be promoting in China. So, you know, whatever. And yeah, so they got hit with that as well. A lot of issues here. This pointed out how during Going 17, China had like this beef with Nike. I think it was over the Rohingya stuff. But during that whole thing, I think V8, it was during the Dream Team episode. So V8 was wearing like Nike shoes and they blurred it out. Like they blurred out the shoes. So if you see parts where he was wearing shoes, like running around and everything, it's all blurred out because he was wearing Nike. At the time, we're also like very confused. Like, why was the Nike shoes like blurred? Like, what goes on? Because everybody, like every other 17 member was wearing Nike shoes as well, but it's just the eights shoes that was blurred. Like, you know, something's up there. So yeah, um, that was pointed out as well. Again, it's just a lot of people were just not having it with June 8th, again, because of the posts, the mandatory Chinese government propaganda posts. And they're like, actually, they're confused as to why June 8th hasn't like ran away from Pledis yet. And I think, again, I think they're like the blue chip for HYBE here. SM is not doing so great in China. Like, let's be real. Wavy in in they're just not it. Like not that they're not it. I like Wavy. Do not twist my words. I actually like Wavy. But they're in shambles after the Lucas thing, and then Win Win is not doing, like, he's here and there in China but not doing so great. And then Ten is also like in a couple of variety shows, but he's not Chinese, so like I do not get the vision here SM. I do not see the vision with Wavy right now. So that's kind of in shambles. There's Lay and Victoria, but like they're pretty much under SM's Chinese label and not directly SM anymore, I guess, I suppose. Um yeah, like not doing so great. So with June 8th being like at least to a certain degree the same popularity as Win Win and Lucas and Ten are in China, like that gives them like a good chance, to succeed to a certain point in China. So I think Pledis and Hybe gave them like a pretty sweet deal to resign their contract for another 5 years apparently. Um and like probably promised them a bunch of like solo stuff during the time 17's gonna be in the military. So good for them. Get that coin. But yeah, a lot of K netizens are confused by it, which again, maybe they should be listening to some Taldok, just some dumpster diving to understand the vision Hybe has for that. Um yeah, like again, requesting 17 members to like leave 17 is a very common narrative in instas. Though I see still some OT13 carrots be fighting in the trenches, fighting for their lives, defending June 8th, which I respect. Like, good on them. I think this kind of like a very specifically 17 thing, right? Where we have like it's a big group, but there's a lot of all fans, there's a lot of OT13 fans. And this kind of I think is a good like in Vernon's words like mujige bansa, like a defense, like an indestructible defense. Because if you're in a fandom with a lot of akges, like one member's faults can so easily just getting bashed at by not like other fandoms but akges within the same fandom. Like imagine being in NCT. Imagine being a permanent resident in NCT, right? And then you see like this happening to Ranjun and Cholo, like they're not surviving that. Like the the elite children will take it into their hands and use it as ammunition against Dream Me's, and it's just no way they're surviving that. Same thing going on in like Illichi, like or at least Wavy. If Wavy fucks up, like does something pro China, like the Dreamzins and Illichilzins will not stay put. Like if you see the Lucas stuff, like some of the people tearing him down the hardest are like NCTzens, but like Akges, like Hechan Akges, Taeyong Akges. Akges of members who are threatened by Lucas's like said position at the time. The Kami 7 of NCT, one would say. So, yeah, imagine this happening in NCT. Like, they're not escaping the slums. Like, I'm sorry. They would have tanked. But since 17 isn't, there's like a lot of all fan carrots. This, surprisingly sailed off quite okay. Like, a lot of fans were still defending them as an OT13. So, good for them. Oh, said, oh my, OMG, I just knew about the Nike shoes. Yeah, it was pretty confusing at the time because it wasn't only during Dream Team, but it was like something else as well. Like they blurred out Minghao's shoes and we're like, why is it blurred out? It was during I think another like an Inside 17 episode also had his shoes blurred out and we're like, why? Like why can't he wear those shoes? Like why did he wear those shoes then? Essentially. But yeah, it has something to do with the China beef with Nike. So that's that. Um, this kind of transpired even further in the Chinese netizen sphere because Hyoyeon was promoting like Korean, like it's part of the Koka Korean Contents Week. So a lot of traditional clothing and traditional Korean heritage was promoted by idols. Not only Hyoyeon, I think, took part, but like La Chica as well. So she posted a picture of herself in a hanbok on her Instagram account. And Chinese trolls took this as her antagonizing once again like China for having the hanbok in the opening ceremony, and after everything that happened with the short skate like event, short track skating thing event as well. So Chinese trolls were trolling her Instagram account, as you can see here. Um, it wasn't great. It wasn't great. And yeah, Asian Junkie has a take on this. It's kind of weird for people to harass Korean celebs for just wearing a hanbok. I get the interference, but it's right and not like they posted about the actual sporting event. Again, it is in reference to the Beijing Olympics opening as well as the short track thing. It's just people are being very sensitive nowadays. Well, not nowadays, but like this is not a snowflake comment. I swear. It's just that I mean, right now the topic of the Korean China thing is just sensitive. Yeah, so I guess taking it further, some has even went as far as to say um disband espa. Interesting take. Ning Ning for the China pro China bubble, Winter for animal abuse. I don't think people knew so much about the Winter animal abuse. Like I talked about it before on Twitter, but I don't think it was during a space. It wasn't during a dumpster diving space, but essentially Winter posted on Bubble of like her going to like a dog cafe, or like she was backstage and a staff member like brought a dog to work or something, and then she started screaming at the dog because it was cute or something. Like she liked the cute response of the dog, and then like some other thing about animals. Winter for an animal abuse, like Winter animal abuser branding apparently, and then Giselle for racism because of the N word. I don't know why K-netizens care about the N word now. Like 이제서야 좀 신경 쓰이네요 kind of response for me, because like usually when idols do N word, then like Koreans being like, we don't care. But this time around, suddenly they care about racism and the N word and being like, fuck Giselle. So, yeah. They're saying disband aespa apparently. So, you know, don't know how SM's gonna recover from this. Because after the whole Ning Ning thing as well, the SM stocks like tanked like pretty hard. Like to the levels of when JYP announced Suzy dating Lee Min-ho, like the stocks were not stonking. The stocks were in their flop era. It's ridiculous. So yeah, that's kind of how it's been for the past few days. It is now February 13th, bordering on the 14th. Happy Valentine's Day to people in the KST um time time, what do you call it? Time zone. Happy Valentine's Day to them. Happy Carrot Day to them as well. But it's been a week and I don't see any of this xenophobic comments slowing down anytime soon. Which, gewe-es to me, but also gewe-es to them. Truly. Gewe-es to them truly. Um yeah, if you sort the 17 posts by like if you search 17 and sort it by like the most popular posts in the past week, as you can see, it all relates to like the xenophobic stuff, and then Wonwoo getting the C word, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's great. Wait, I'll see some other posts later, saving that for later. But yeah, not going great for Chinese idols in Korea. They're struggling really hard. Another one, oh, another thing they pointed out about um June 8th is like they don't bow during like when they do like Chuseok or Solal greetings. Usually Korean idols like bow like full bowing on the floor and everything, and then they don't, which because it's um regarded as disrespectful in China. And then like Koreans are saying like they don't respect Korean culture. Well, you don't respect Chinese culture. Like I do not see it. Like I'm sorry. Like I can't. I just no. Like it's too much, guys. I cannot take any more xenophobia. Okay, like it's enough xenophobia against like Southeast Asians. Like that exists as well. And this being against Chinese idols, like it's too close to home. It's too close to home. Like I cannot take it. I really can't. So that's that. I was gonna talk about something else earlier. Oh right, I was going to back read Lily, but like I was back reading and there wasn't anything fun happening there except some things calling out and hypen and TXT, which really truly I don't really care much about. Like I'm sorry. Um, and then what's this Asian joke? Oh right, referring back to my original tweet about pressing F for Tal Dokju faves yesterday, which prompted this dumpster diving session to begin with. Um, my faves, Pet Rock, Mr. Sehun of EXO, and Serom of Promise Nine getting called out. And the Serom one was over this, like she didn't realize the V Live started already, and she started talking like not really like shit talking, but like saying that she didn't want to be here and she wants to go home as fast as possible after like implying that she wants to go home after the V Life and wants to like not deal with fans. So she got called out for that, and this sparked like a whole thing on Instas, bringing up the what rigging thing from Idol School again. Maybe Ihain is the winner. Like all of this, Ihain manifested, you know. But yeah, they were not having any of it with Promise Nine, so maybe they are disbanding this year after all. Hype being like, oh, a scandal, let's disband them. Maybe it's happening, maybe it's not. I don't know, but it's not looking great for Promise Nine and their trajectory for 2022. They were picking up steam with DM. I think there was a video of like a DM stage compilation, you know, like the stage mix type thing, and a lot of um like military people were commenting like, yeah, this is number one in the military charts, topping the military charts for 4 years straight. Mr. Promise, like Miss Promise Nine and the gang, you know. Um, so they're supposedly pretty popular in the military, and they were supposed to go on their Brave Girls arc, but after this, I don't think so. Because a lot of like Clovers, which are Promise Nine fans, are saying, "Oh my god, maybe it's time for me to tell Doc." Like, "Oh my god, I realized I was stupid this whole time for being delusional." So, not great for Promise Nine. And then Sehun was being called out for smoking indoors, which fair enough. Again, personal opinion, I'm just not in favor of smoking in general. But like it's to each and their own. But at least if you're gonna smoke, like don't smoke indoors, you know? Where was it? Where was it? Where's the Sehun indoor smoking stuff? Oh, here we go. And it's like it is all Zitao's fault. Like, oh, fuck Zitao. This is all his fault. Oh god. So there's a picture of it, and then people are start talking about it. But like God of Trot himself, Im Jong Woong was in a similar case like in 2020 where he smoked indoors like backstage, and there was like a picture of it, and adding to that, it was for pre-recording with like for a children's program, so they have children backstage as well. So it's even worse than just smoking indoors, and he survived it. He's fine. He still God of Trot, still number one in Korea. beating even BTS themselves, in Ajuma's eyes. So maybe Sehun can survive this. And like he's enlisting this year anyways. This like will be swept under the rug. Nonetheless, a lose for Miss Taldokju. Taldokju faves in their flop era for real. So that's a thing as well. What other thing occurred? Oh, I was searching the 17 tag and consequently the Dokyum tag as well because I wanted to know the general response for the Kim Tae-ri OST, Kim Tae-ri drama OST. But all I could find was still freaking Yewon. Oh my god, like maybe Dogyum relevancy era 2022. Cause like why? It's been like a whole 2 weeks. Why are we talking about Yewon? Like give me a reason. Like for what? Why are we still talking about Miss Yewon? Like why though? As you can see here, February 13th, still talking about Yewon Nuna and asking for like an explanation or an apology for Yewon Nuna. Why? This is why people are saying that the DC gal people move to Instas because like usually these things don't last like more than a night or two like on Instas. Like at the very worst, it was like during Irene. No, it was during Prada Gate. So Irene and Chanyeol, that like lasted a whole 3 days. But they're relevant people. So why are we as dog hive naters have to endure a whole 2 weeks of Yeon Nuna not dying yet? Like let this die down like already. It's been 2 weeks. Let him live. Oh, said, OMG, this pic old as heck. I thought you were talking about the recent stuff. No, I am not talking about recent stuff, which is why it's even more ridiculous, and that's why I think it's all Zitao's fault. Fuck Zitao. Anyways, like, maybe Dogyum relevancy era. This is giving Prada Gate. It's giving COVID criminal and Itaewon Gate. Like, why are we as a collective still talking about Yewon Nuna 2 months, no, 2 weeks later? Like, let him live. Let Dogyum have girlfriends that we don't know about. Like, dude, like, just let it die. Let it be. We're over it already. Let him thrive with his OST. And so yeah, that's a thing. I think aside from that, is there anything else that we can talk about? Any requests, Yorobun, that you want me to figure out? I think that's about it. I was combing through DC Gallery for 17 stuff, but there's not really any like fun stuff here. Mostly just 17 being like not really called out, but like being mentioned in other groups stuff. Like for no reason, like why the relevancy era of 17 always ceases to amaze me. Like we're at the point now that even if they don't have any scandals, they're being brought up in other people's scandals just as a comparison. So maybe we're in our brand reputation ranking number 2 era. Maybe so. Oh my god, why is that a new? Maybe so, 여러분. Finally. It's a bit too late now though. But, it is. Oh, why are we subjected? No. No, I am not going through fucking barco musical posts. This is Andin-phobic. 셉지 아직 당한 놈은 3명뿐이구나. 에? Is there anyone else who caught C-word other than Wonu? I don't think so. Why are they saying 3 people? Misinformed. Anyways, I think this is people calling out Barco for his lackluster musical performance, deserved. Fuck Bako and his sexual harassment allegations. We do not support. Hmm, what else been going on? Again, I haven't been back reading DC Gallery in a while because I was scared it's gonna be filled with xenophobia as well, and it wasn't. So, you know, you can never be too prepared. It is filled with Barco stuff though. Like maybe I made the right choice in not visiting DC Gallery for a while. 'Cause it's just full of Barco freaking stuff. You know, like no, we are not subjecting ourselves to floppest jump scares just to look for some 17 stuff. Oh yeah, they're talking about Promise 9 as well. See, 17 just being brought up in like their Pledis mates shit. Like, why? Oh god, like, why though? Hmm. Oh yeah, just talking about C words stuff. Yeah, there's nothing much going on here. Again. Oh, okay. The devil do be wearing Prada era. Exactly. Prada Gate. Speaking of Zitao, he's allegedly dating Xu Yang, ex SM rookie. It's all over Chinese media. He's disgusting. That's true though. It's true love. It's true. I've heard about this Xu Yang rumor since like pre GP 999 post. What's the Chinese idol like produce program that she went on? But yeah, after that, I remember her being signed into Tao's label, and that was already sus to begin with. And then the rumor started that Zita was dating Yi Yang, Yi Yang as an ex-SM trainee. You know, just a lot of red flags all over. We do not fuck with Zita. We do not fuck with all of the Chinese EXO members actually. Chris is in jail. Luhan is dating someone my age, supposedly engaged to someone my age. Zitao dating Yi Yang. Not looking great. Not looking great for them, and I do not want to associate. um, just 17 variety and stuff. This is not fun. Again, I don't think there's like things going on. If that makes any sense. Like things are happening, but not enough that it's like it requires its own dumpster diving. I just want to talk about the xenophobia stuff just because I want to. But aside from that, there's nothing really going on. People talking about going 17, which is like interesting. In on DC Gal, truly our relevancy era. Finally, maybe a little too late. Like, why be relevant now? But yeah, what this about ENHYPEN? 코앞은 핑계 말고 비압이나 오라고 세치는 격히 하면서 잘만 Oh, they're saying that during quarantine 17 like goes on like live and like interacts with fans a lot. So why is it that like when ENHYPEN is on quarantine they don't? You know, 17 are just overworked workaholics. Like they want to be workaholics. So to each and their own. Let Sonu rest. Let my cutie son rest. Oh, there was actually a funny post about comparing ENHYPEN and Treasure the other day. Like made me laugh so hard because it was just like two of the most like irrelevant groups just fighting for no reason. Where was it? It was so funny. No, did it get deleted? Oh my god, wait. I linked it on Twitter and like talked about it a bit. Like I want to talk about it again because I want to give like a word for word um like explanation of it. So the title is that I thought there's a lot of people who thought that the worst fourth generation group when it comes to interactions like social media interactions with fans are in Hypen, but Treasure is also a big contender. But Enhypen has a lot of fans, and Treasure does not have fans, so only Enhypen's like lack of interactions are known to people. And Hyphen's also a rookie, um, but like to the point of it being unbelievable, they really just do not like interact with fans online. They seriously don't do it, and even if they do, it's only Jongwon who does it. Um, the same with Treasure. It's only Hyunsuk and Haruto who does it, which is two people. But if you see um in like the ratio of like total amount of members, it makes sense because Treasure has like 12 people and Hypen has 7. So the ratio there works out to like 1 to 7 still. So it's like the same amount of interaction essentially. And then the funny thing is, Hyunsuk has once said that we should become like a boy group that's like more focused on fandom, like fandom growth. So, and that's why they're like a big group anyway. So there's no way to appeal to the public essentially. But if you compare to like groups in YG who are more public friendly, public focused, they still don't do as much like interaction or like give enough talkbap, which is something that fandoms thrive on, which is hilarious. And then, um, yeah, if you see the size of their fandom, it's like not as big as like Big Bang, Winner, or Icon. Like they don't even appeal to the public and everything. So like I don't know. This is really funny. It's like the pot calling the kettle black in essence because they're both generally irrelevant domestically in Korea. Like they have like 1,000 fans max, maybe. That's like overestimating, possibly. You know, so it's just hilarious. Like, why though? So yeah, there's just like engines and like I don't know what Treasure fans are called, but they're like the girlies are fighting, and it's just like why though? Why are you guys like for what? Fighting who's the more irrelevant group. Truly hilarious. I was laughing my ass off reading this yesterday. It was super funny because I was searching Enhypen just like to see what people are saying about Enhypen on Instas just for fun. Because, okay, for people who don't follow the Taldokjo Twitter, but I've been in my Enhypen phase again now. We we regressing a little bit. I was avoiding them for a bit, like after the Sonu bullied allegations. Like I just can't with engines. So I was Hugh docking for a while. I was checking out their comeback here and there, but I wasn't really fully immersed. But recently, I've gained a new Dokjil mate who turned into engineism. The carrot gene pipeline is very real, Yorobun. So that's fun. I've been catching up with their stuff. So I was just looking through their like what people are saying on the communities on them recently. You know, speaking of regression, I've been also reading a lot of boy ex girl idol fan fiction. Fortunately, not on the big website that is Asian fanfics in the big year of 2022. We have moved past that. We have moved past Live Journal, Het K-pop, My Lifesaver in high school as well. We've now moved on to some local AUs and fics on Twitter. It's fun. It's entertaining. We've regressed pretty hard. But it's also, I guess, the way I view Enhypen, like maybe it's just awkward because I've seen them since like Island, and they're mostly minors there, like minors acting like frat boys, to be exact. So I just cannot see them in a slash setting. Hence the BXG stuff. If I wanna consume some Enhypen fan content, which fair enough, not the best quality, but like maybe I'm living for it. Maybe we are all in our flop eras as a collective and regressing into some things we enjoyed in our youth, in our Orinsijol, being trashy, chicklit, BXG idol content. Maybe that's just where I'm at in my life, you know? That's a bit of a tangent. But yeah, again, there's not really much going on. Maybe that's why I've regressed so much. 'Cause there's no eggs to follow, no egg accounts to follow. Oh, OMG, can we talk about the Sonu bullied allegations, please? This truly a time to be alive. I wasn't, as a Sonu fan, like as a Sonu fan who wasn't an Akge, this also had some backstory into it. Okay, so um during Island, as an Island Naders, Island avid viewer at the time, um it wasn't looking great for Sonu. So he was leading in voting, like in popularity, by a whole lot. Like maybe you're probably aware of this, but in the part 2 of Island, um wait, let's just search up Sonu Bully for a bit. Okay, but like during this like had this this stems from like the root of everything start like it started during Island. So they Sonu was leading by a whole lot in like in terms of fan votes, and a lot of people, both domestic fans and international fans, were worried that if Sonu made it into Enhypen, then there will be a lot of Sonu Gain fans and Sonu Akges. Like they only care for Sonu and not Enhypen as a group, which I think is a fair judgment, like a fair analysis, a fair concern, if you will, when it comes to groups made of from survival shows. Because in survival shows, you're like kind of pushed, you're kind of motivated to become like an individual stand to begin with. Like you're supposed to only, um, like how to say it? You're only encouraged to vote for one trainee essentially, right? So like it's um a fair assessment or a fair concern to be like, I'm scared that if he makes it, then like there his fans will only care for Sonu and not like the other members. I get it, I understand it, but this kind of pushed like a rift into the Enhypen fandom to begin with, like Sonu fans being just Sonu fans, and then OT6 fans, and there's also some just being Nikki fans, and like an OT5 stance. So we were already made into factions here. OT5 stands, Nikki stands, Sonu stands, OT7 stands, OT6 stands. Like there were different factions in the Enhypen in Engine Land, if you will. So that was a thing. And then afterwards, it was fine for like debut era until like 2020, like or like late 2020. So during the year end award stuff, and then going into drunk days, border carnival stuff, it was we were good. We were doing okay. Like no one no one felt anything amiss, you know. But then people started like noticing in their V lives and um just general content. They always made fun of Sonu's eating habits and weight. So I guess that's like the most like the big brunt of it is that they always made fun of Sonu's eating habits, like be it in like passing of mentioning how Sonu always like steals such a big bite out of other members' food, or Sonu only ever eating and like snacking all the time, or mentioning that Sonu is lying about his weight, that he's like his weight is a lot like heavier than he's claiming it to be, and like all of this like nasty thing. Not really. I'm pretty sure it's not from ill intent. It's just that in a society like this is not me defending it either, but in a society like Korea, it's like pretty much normalized to make such comments about people's looks and taking it as a joke. You know, again, it's still not like great. It's still not a good thing, but this sparked the Sonu bullying allegations. Um I'm trying to find some clips, but like or like posts about it. Can't find it for the life of me. Oh, here we go. Yeah, okay, here we go. I have the tea. Here we go. So like a Sonu Akge made it like a thread of all the times supposedly Enhypen bullied or teased Sonu. And again, this is not great coming because it's coming from a Sonu Akge already. Like they have some real concerns about how Enhypen treats Sonu, but at the same time, you're Sonu Akge. It's like it's bound to be biased, and like some of the allegations are just reaching. You know, here it's like okay, you've Nikki saying you've gained a little weight, and then um apparently there's a V Live where they were ignoring Sonu. Um, and then Sonu puts his hand in and they all remove theirs. Like it's giving Tiara. It's very much giving Tiara here. And then them making jokes about Sonu's eating habits, who eats the most. I don't eat that much, but Sonu eats the most. Like mentioning it in passing as if it's like a very casual thing. The question was ice cream or cake. After Sonu said cake, he said these days I'm really into desserts, and he said then you'll need to lose weight. And Sonu said 진짜, I mean, like you know, like why are you saying that, something like that. So the bullying allegations is real here. Let me retweet it real quick and just in case Oomph wants to like see it without me scrolling through in the stream, or if it's like not clear enough. So here it is. Sonu mentions his goal was to watch his weight, and the way Nikki reacts to this is just really off for me. His reaction to like some weight related stuff. Don't give me any BS that this is about his personality or about being Sonu being cute, Nikki. But looks wise, Sonu is similar to Baymax. Again, it's like it's reaching. It's giving very much. Nikki is like in his annoying like teenager Sagittarius like phase. Like he's just the most annoying little shit phase, you know, people in their 8th grade annoyingness. It's giving very much that. um he then says, let's not lie about this. Lie about what? You can clearly read what he's trying to say. So yeah, it's just you know, it's just Nikki being like annoying essentially. Jay comforts Sonu while he's crying, and then Nikki starts mocking it. What's there to be kakaying about Nikki? So yeah, like it's not great because again, it's very much coming from a Sonu Ake that has preconceived notions about like other members possibly being like antagonizing other members. So you know, not great. But yeah, I'm not saying like the thing about like the remarks about Sonu's weight or Sonu's eating habits aren't nasty, and it isn't rooted in like some lookism thing in Korea, like their obsession with looks and whatnot. But again, it's just it's still nasty, you know. And they still make it to this day. Like if you watch their recent and the clock, they were talking about like Sonu taking like a big bite every time they order food, and like his eating habits is still very much like the butt of Enhypen jokes. But since Sonu just doesn't like, he seems to not be super bothered by it. Again, I think it's just rooted in the lookism thing. I think he's at like, wow, this is not me over analyzing or anything, but like, again, as idols who are highly encouraged to follow strict diets and keep watch of their weight, I think he thinks it's like a normalized thing to be, to keep track of his weight anyways. So the members making a joke of it is pretty much just like a normal thing to him, and he's not very much bothered by it. So yeah, again, like bullying allegations saying that they ignore Sonu, um, saying that they envy Sonu the most. Jongwon asks what's happening in June, then he says their blank period instead of Sonu's birthday. Then Sonu asks what's happening in June, and nobody answers. Yeah, they him forgot his birthday, stuff like that. So it's very nasty, not great. This is also what led me to just Hugh docking for a while, because at this point I'm just like tired of both sides. Like as a Sonu stan who also enjoys other ENHYPEN members, like I do not like them. I do like them too since Island. But yeah, it's just giving me very conflicting feelings at the time, so I decided to Hugh dock because I just cannot take both sides. I cannot take it anymore. Like I just want to enjoy good vibes. And engines are, as a baby K-pop stans are very dramatic about everything, so it wasn't great. Yeah, and then chubby hands and everything, just like poking fun at his weight, something like that. He'd rather bring his manager to the desert island with him rather than any of the members. That says a lot. So yeah, this is Sonu saying that, who do you want to bring to a desert island with you? I want to bring our manager with me. So yeah, see, it's like it's reading too much into things, but at the same time, it could be like a fair concern. All of this happening right after Border Carnival, which ended in May or June. Like their promotions ended in May, June. Wait, no, in April, May ish, and then Sonu's birthday being in June. And as previously stated, apparently the members forgot about his birthday. So I'm not sure if they read too much into this, but yeah, apparently they forgot about his birthday during the June review thing. They like monthly review evaluation thing they do on YouTube. And so a lot of just Sonu enjoyers, or there's some of like really edgy girl group stans as well, joining in on the festive, decided to be like, okay, we as a collective will make it the Sonu birthday bash on his birthday. And a lot of K-pop stans like really went all out for Sonu's birthday, which I enjoyed. It was fun. Or was it Sonu B-Day bash? Oh shit, wait, where is it? So in support of Sonu in this bullying allegations, a lot of fans just decided to just show up for Sonu's birthday and streamed his birthday V Live. And most of them not even being engines, like they're just casual K-pop stans who heard about the bullying allegations, and like some are just like GG, like girl group edgy stans and everything. So it was very amusing. So yeah, here you can see it was like Sonu's birthday. In this V Live, like Nikki was also being like the biggest little shit ever, and then actually Sonu shut him down at like one point, being like, "Just shut up, just sit down," or something like that. It was really hilarious. I, as a Sonu stan, was enjoying it. Like, shut him down. So, but it also shows that he can fight back. So yeah, that's what made him like that. What made me not like worry too much or read into it too much anymore nowadays. So yeah. Also another thing I think struck people the wrong way about the dynamics and Hypen as well is like the hatred for mint choco is just too much. So as a background here, as a to set the scene here, Sonu is the only member in Hypen who really likes mint choco. Like, oh no, who likes mint choco, and then not only does he like mint choco, he's like obsessed with mint choco. Like, he really, 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 really likes mint choco. while the other members of Enhypen like do not like Mint Choco. Nikki, like during debut era, they had like a V Live or something, and they asked like, "Do you like Mint Choco or not?" Because they was at the time it was like a hot topic, like to ask idols. And then at the time, Nikki said he liked Mint Choco, like he enjoyed it enough to like if someone had it, like he wasn't opposed to eating it, but like as a teenager puber that he is, that like wants to have validation from his youngs, I think over time he just started becoming like anti mint choco as well. Like the other Enhypen members. So Sonu is the only member in Enhypen who likes mint choco, and every time they bring up mint choco or like bring up Sonu, they always make fun of like his love for mint choco, and like unprovoked as well. So yeah, a lot of people brought it up as being just like, why are they singling out Sonu and everything? So it is what it is, you know. So yeah, that pretty much covers the Sonu bullying allegations that happened after Border Carnival promotions, which is just a whole thing. You know, it was we were in our flop era as a Sonu stan. You know, yeah. Um, so yeah, it was a tough time. It was giving very much Tiara without actual bullying. I don't know. We still don't know what goes on behind the scenes. I just don't want to read too much into it because I feel like it's a kind of teasing. Like the thing with Nikki, he's just being a plain little shit. What do you expect from a 16-year-old going to puberty? And as Oof pointed out, he's like the typical stereotypical annoying Sagittarius male going through puberty. Like the amount of shit he's gonna cause just to cause shit, you cannot underestimate it, you know? So that's the whole thing with Nikki. And the other like older members, I think they just like Jongwon aside, I think people just like and Hypen as a whole just regard Sonu as the maknae despite him being like older than Jongwon and Nikki. Like even Jongwon and Nikki thinks of him as younger than them. Like it's the cutest thing, but also like, you know, people can think of it as like being disrespectful or whatever. But yeah, I think they just really enjoy like teasing him because he has like the best reactions. Like he's just like easy to tease. Like he's like pretty much like the Mingyu of Enhypen. Like when he gets teased, like his reactions are really cute and funny and everything. That's why they tease him a lot. Though I cannot like I'm not gonna cap for the emotional capabilities and sympathy of male teenagers in their early 20s and late teens. So I feel at times they also like take it too far too, but doesn't mean they don't care for Sonu. Like there are times where they like I think in one of the dance jams, Sonu wasn't feeling it. Like I was watching that in real time. It was hard for me to watch as a Sonu stan. Like he was just not feeling it. I don't know what happened before with like before they did the dance jam. They said they did it after having like dance practice. Maybe as over analyzing as this is, maybe he got like scolded for like his dancing or whatever, but he wasn't feeling it during the dance jam. And so he was in the back a lot, and then he was out of view of the camera, like out of screen a lot, and just like generally being down. And then so Jongwon approached him, talked to him a little bit, and then Sonu started coming on screen a little bit, danced for a bit. But then during the ending of the dance jam, he doesn't like he goes out of frame again when they were greeting like to end the dance jam live, like saying their goodbyes. And then so Song Hoon like shifted a bit and like dragged him into frame like just to make sure he was included and everything. So I think they do care for him. Like again, like what do you expect like men in their late teens, like
the emotional range of men in their late teens. Like, they're not gonna be the most sympathetic creatures on earth, okay? They're not gonna be the most vulnerable, the most emotionally like aware of their own feelings, moreover others' feelings. Like, the constipation is real here. So I'm just not like gonna read too much into it. Like, if they are fighting over things like this, or if they do truly aren't like the besties they try to like show on screen, like, I'm sure it'll come out in a few years. Like, they're gonna pull a Shinhwa beefing on social media, or they're gonna pull a Shiny and being like, yeah, remember the way we fought that one time, like 5 years ago, where I almost slammed you chokehold into the floor. Like, we'll learn about this down the line. Like, I'm not gonna like stress too much into it. And as the wise, not maybe not very wise role models, Super Junior once said, like, sometimes you just have to fight it out. Maybe they're just in the phase where they're still fighting things out. Because again, they didn't like train together. They've talked about like the way Big Hit or Belift like kept them separated and like actively prohibited them from interacting with one another before Island. So, for example, like Heesung, Jongwon, and Jae and Songhoon were like Big Hit trainees. So they trained like before, like for a few years before Island even happened, and they were like known Big Hit trainees. Like, people were aware of them already. They were like pretty much front runners, and like people even called out like Big Hit privileges during Island for those four people. But like trainees like Sonu, Danielle, Jake, they were under Belift, so they trained in like separate building at some point, and they didn't like start training till like a few months before Island started, anyways. So uh, by the time they came in to train, um, like Big Hit has enforced a rule where they can't eat together, or if they met each other during like when they're at the gym or whatever, they cannot talk to one another, they cannot interact at all. I think Sonu like told a story where he bumped into Hisung at the company gym, and they just like awkwardly looked at each other through the mirror because they can't talk to one another. So they just kind of they wanted to greet one another, but they can't. So they just like awkwardly exchange like looks through the mirror while they exercise separately. And I think also another story they told was that um Jake was really popular between Big Hit trainees, like as the only like trainee that passed the international like the global auditions, like with like one to like a couple hundred like chance of the odds of passing, and he passed. So a lot of people knew him as like the really handsome trainee in Belift. And also they've heard about Nikki. Nikki is a special case because he actually trained in the Japanese company for a while, so he didn't actually fly out to Korea until like a few months before I land as well. So like he trained for longer than Sonu and Jake, but he didn't actually come to Korea until like a few months before anyways. So yeah, they don't know each other all that well until I land. So like I think they're still in the phase where they're trying to figure out the group dynamics. Think 1717 TV era where they fought about like everything and nothing, you know, the famous black plastic bag and gray towel era of 17 TV. I think they're still at that phase, but they've debuted it already. So give it some time, like 2 3 years. I think they'll figure it out by then. Cause even like I was watching their N Connect fan meet DVD I think a few days ago, and like Songhoon mentioned that like he fought with Sonu about like the choreo or something. Because they had to step on like Sonu's back or whatever, something like that for one of the performances, and like they didn't want to hurt Sonu, but like it became into an argument, so they argued, and they mentioned it so casually, like, yeah, we fought about that or something like that. So men, male, teenagers in their late teens, like I don't know what you expect from them. Okay, like just let them be, let them fight it out. In 10 years time they're all gonna be like Minho and Ki anyways. Like just just let it be. Okay, let them mellow out with like age and they'll be fine. So that's about it. um so yeah, I don't know. I'm reading my timeline a little bit now to see any responses to it. Oomph said Nikki Sonu development should be interesting because Sag Gemini combo, especially those stuck in close proximity, always either go very right or very wrong. This reminds me of the story they told like on Weavers where Sonu and Nikki went on a walk, but like they went separately because they were fighting. It was really funny. Here, help, Nikki and Sonu went for a walk yesterday and fought on their way home, so they walked back separately. Then Nikki posted this on Weavers, and Sonu commented that Nikki's copying him. Bye. See, like, they're both very petty, so, like, I don't know, like, dude, just let them be. They're still in their late teens. In a couple years' time, it's all just gonna be, like, petty bickering, anyways. Like, chill out. No actual bullying is occurring, I think. So it's all good. It's all great. I think that's about it. I think we're at the end of our dumpster diving section. Covered two main topics. Had a bit of fun, I suppose. And there's not really much else to say. Not really much else to talk about. If you still have any questions, do leave them in the chat or on Twitter. Like, mention me. It's always a bit of a fun time there. Um, but yeah, we're also nearing like the 2 hour mark, which I usually end my lives at like 2 hour mark. Said, "Aduh lucu banget tay," which is fair enough. Again, they're just like bickering all the time for no reason. Cause I mean that happens with like Sonu and Songhun as well. Like they bicker all the time. I don't really want to stress into it nowadays. Like it'll sort itself out. Again, like even recently you can already see like some improvements. Like Nikki has been like praising Sonu in like some interviews and stuff, calling him like, yeah, I think it's like the bright energy. Like I don't think Enhypen would be Enhypen without Sonu and stuff like that. Like Nikki being sappy, like on main, caught in 4K, emotional like improvements. I think he's making great leaps towards becoming more mellowed out, more chilled out. And that's a good thing. So yeah, I don't think it's something we should worry about. People just take things to the extreme. Like as a Sonu stan, I can see where the Sonu Akis are coming from in some of the posts, but at the same time, I don't think any of the Enhypen members are doing it out of ill intent, just normal teenager things. I hope they sort it out, like actually sort it out. So it's not that big of a deal if that actually is a thing. So yeah, I think comes to a close. Dumpster diving. Kind of. I think this wraps up kind of the bulk of what I wanted to talk about. Not really sure when I'm gonna do another one next. I'm now in my work from home era again, so I can pretty much do this whenever I feel necessary. Necessary being like a pretty subjective word because it could mean just me wanting to rant or something big actually happening. In other words, it could just be anytime. I don't know if there's nothing fun going on. I'll probably just do this every like in like 2 weeks. But if there's something fun going on, I don't know. I might return next week. We never know. That's the beauty of dumpster diving. It's very impromptu. It's very whenever I feel like it. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate the views and the chat. If there's anything you want me to cover, feel free to at me, DM me, whatever. A message from the sponsors would be to stream Bop Bop by Viviz. Support Yewon Nuna, you know? She just left Hybe. She's against the corporation. Support small business owners. Support Bop Bop by Viviz. It's a really good song. I think it's like a big contender for Taldokje Awards 2022, month of February, digital bonsang, you know? And that's about it. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time. Bye.